which we're going to be focusing on finding out where there is value after the recent sell-off. But why the sell-off and what is it that you should be doing in light of the US presidential elections? Who better than Rajeev Agarwal from DoorDarshi India Fund joining in to talk about exactly that. Rajeev, hi, good to have you on the show. Just wanted to understand what's the message out there for India investors, given the recent sell-off, given the incessant FII and FPI selling, and of course, you know, the big queue that awaits all of us, the US elections.
Yeah, no, I think as Nikunj was saying earlier, I feel that, some pullback in the markets is pretty healthy for the market. The last time I was on your show, I think Nikunj was saying, well, will the market keep running? And since then, it has come down. So I think it's a pretty good thing that the market has pulled off some. Multiple reasons, as you pointed out, with FPI pulling the money and taking that money elsewhere. Obviously, there is some uncertainty with the US elections, and we'll see that tomorrow if the results actually come out that quickly or whether there is some litigation around the results. But I do think for people like us who look for individual opportunities rather than the market as a whole, I think it is starting to give us some opportunities to invest our money, and we are active investors as the markets have come down.
Selling them, Rajiv, you are not selling. A lot of our fellow friends who are foreign investors, they are not selling. Where is the sell number coming from? Are these country dedicated funds? Are these ETFs? Why is the number of FI selling so excruciatingly big every day now?
Yeah, I think a lot of these might be very macro-focused hedge funds, is what I would assume, because these are the people who are coming into the markets based on the momentum. And clearly, as the momentum has moved around, and as well as, there is an expectation about the fact that China possibly will have a bigger stimulus in the next few weeks. And they want to be positioning for that. They obviously missed the first leg of that, but maybe there is a lot of driver around that. The second fact, which we know, all of us know, is the fact that Indian markets were not necessarily cheap if you compare to many other markets. So I think they have made some good money in the last few quarters. And I think this is a very normal thing where they would want to take the money off and try to de-risk some of their portfolio positioning and use it elsewhere.
How would you, look at the overall picture when it comes to what's happening in the US in particular, given that everyone's talking about being a very neck and neck race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? Do you think that we are likely to see a major shift in terms of the mood as to what exactly comes out of the US elections, or it's not going to be a big market moving event globally?
I think it could very well be a market moving event. And I think the bigger move could happen if the election verdict is not very clear, because given how tight the race is, as you are showing on your screens, I think the race is very tight, and it is possible that a few states ultimately decide the election, as we know. And if the vote difference between the two candidates is not significant, there is a much higher chance that this time there is litigation around that. And that is an uncertainty that nobody wants. We also know that the two candidates have very different policies, right? And the longer it drags on, I think the more the uncertainty will be there. And definitely that is a risk that is there in the market. So I think it's too difficult to call out how the election will be, clearly. But the uncertainty is creating some concern for the investors. But people like us, we basically try to take advantage of that. So we are okay.
Rajiv, where is it that you're actually putting money to work? What have you been buying in this recent decline?
I think you talked about the bank nifty. I think banking slash NBFCs has been a sector that has been hit hard, especially, with the unsecured lending businesses really not doing well in the Q2 results. And that has come down, the prices have come down significantly, which starts, if we look out a few years, maybe some of them are starting to look a little bit more interesting to us. That's one area. I think capital markets have done very well in India, and those capital market players' results have been very strong this year or this quarter. And we think that capital markets can continue to do well. They may not have the same run rate as we have seen in the recent quarters, but I think capital markets in India should continue to do well. And frankly, there are a few good players who are playing for the long all. So that could be another very interesting area. And the third thing I feel which India needs a lot is energy. And Nikunj brought up the renewable energy sector. And I think that could be another area that one could look at, because there will be a lot of action in India on the renewable energy side.
Okay, Rajeev, really appreciate your time and thank you for joining us. What do we have?
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.